Reinkstone version 1.13 is finally here. There are 6 changes and a warning, so let's go over everything. Add a 2 mode in color mode. This wasn't available before. Let's check it out. So their disclaimer last time was that the speed modes, graphic mode, web mode, etc. only worked with the black and white mode. So let's go on to something like web mode actually, and we're going to go over to the web browser and check it out. Let's do some navigating in web mode. The refresh is pretty strong, and I can't say it's fast, but it is responsive. So like the second you touch the screen, it does something, but you still does have a little bit of blurriness when you're slowly moving things like that. But the different modes do work with color. Now you don't actually have to go over here and turn off the color palette for it to use the actual web mode, video mode, etc. Number 2, change the layout of the application page. It most definitely has changed. You get a little circle, a rounded square around the app, at the bottom, and these have all changed. So instead of being overbloated with a whole bunch of stuff, there's simply just 4 applications now, and they do look a little bit different from the last update. Number 3, use different UI design styles under black and white mode and color mode. It doesn't elaborate as to what exactly is changed, because UI is the user interface. That's everything you see here. It's what you interact with. So when we go home, for example, what we're seeing here is the elements at the bottom, the elements at the top. So when we change it to color and black and white respectively, I don't see much that really changes. And then we'll go back to color, except obviously the colors at the bottom. I have noticed that when you're on Reader and you're on color, there's no rounded square around Reader, but then when you turn on black and white, there is a rounded square. So there are some changes, and they seem to be very subtle, but they have changed. Number 4, merge PDFreader and Wiwoodreader. These were the separate readers that the unit had when you went to your files to open something up, etc. They are now joined together, but they have disappeared individually from the main app, so you actually have to open something. So before it would actually prompt you what app you want to use, it now just boots right up, so you can go into reading your PDFs right away. Before it would say you want to open with this, open with this. If you only have one app installed, or no apps installed rather, it'll just boot up with the default combined reading app. Next one is there is no handwriting when the pen is on the floating ball. So before, if this was the floating ball right here and you would tap it, there'd be a dot there even when it went away. Now, when you tap it, you can see behind the floating ball there's no more lines, but when you tap around it, you can draw comfortably. And finally, solve the abnormal page bug when turning pages of a PDF file. We haven't noticed too many bugs prior. There was, I guess, a little inconsistency. It was slow. Now it seems to be actually quite quick. There is still a little bit of staining in the background, but the actual PDF turns pages fairly rapidly now. The warning for this update is very important. It deletes everything. Absolutely everything on this device will be deleted, including all of the cache, all of your notes, all of your files, and even your Wi-Fi passwords. Everything is gone. So you do have to make sure, if you're in a place where maybe you don't remember the Wi-Fi password, just be very wary going into this, because everything's going to be gone. Now let's see how this one writes, because up until now, to be completely honest, the writing experience has always kind of suffered on this. It's been connecting vertices, it's just been really strange. Let's go to full color mode, let's go to a pen, let's choose dark green, and let's do some writing right now. So what just happened there? everything works really well now. Very well. We're not seeing those weird things where we write an E and it's connecting this vertice with the last thing we've written and making a weird line. But what it's doing is kind of playing catch up. You see how not only is it not that low when it comes to latency, there actually is a fair amount of latency. It also overlines itself with this isolated refresh that slowly waves over the line you've drawn. And the lines are fairly inconsistent. For example, these two are very green, and this one I just drew is not that green until you tap something else and then it becomes more green. And I'm not sure why that is. For example, if I go like that, it's a very light green, and then I tap away from it, that now becomes super dark. So that needs to be corrected, but honestly, this is a massive improvement over what it was 2 updates ago. So this is version 1.13 of the Reinkstone R1. More to come from goodyreader.com.